All right, if you're a construction student getting ready for internship season, you are in exactly the right place. We are going to dive into one simple decision that can seriously put your resume right on top of the pile, and that's choosing between an OSHA 10 and an OSHA 30 certification. It might seem like a small detail, but trust me, it sends a massive signal to employers.
So let me ask you a question. Picture this. Two students apply for the same exact internship. Same school, same grades, everything looks identical on paper. But there's one difference. One has OSHA 10 and the other has OSHA 30. So who gets that callback? Well, the answer reveals a lot about how this industry really works.
See, here's the secret. It's not really just about safety training. It's not just about checking a box. Getting that OSHA 30, that's about signaling your potential as a future leader. It tells a hiring manager you're not just looking for a summer gig. You're already thinking about your career.
And let's be real, in a stack of 100 resumes, you have to find a way to stand out. This is it. This one decision can instantly separate you from like 80% of the other applicants who just did the bare minimum. That's a huge advantage. So here's our game plan. We're going to tackle that callback question, break down what your resume is really saying, and get into why general contractors value OSHA 30 so much. We'll also clear up if it's required or just recommended, give you some killer talking points for your next interview, and finally, show you how this all helps build your personal brand. All right, let's dive right in. The internship callback question. Before we get into all the strategy, let's just get on the same page. What is the actual difference between an OSHA 10 and an OSHA 30? To put it really simply, OSHA 10 is for the worker. It's a 10-hour entry-level course that's all about personal safety, how to recognize hazards and not get hurt. OSHA 30, on the other hand, is for the supervisor. It's a 30-hour deep dive. It's not just about your safety. It's about learning how to manage safety for an entire crew for a whole job site. Okay, now for the part that really matters for your internship search. Let's talk about the signal. What message does each of these certifications send when a hiring manager sees it on your resume?
So, an OSHA 10 on your resume says, you meet the minimum expectations. You get the basics of site safety, you're compliant. And look, that's good, but it's also really common. It's the standard. It just means you did what was expected. Now, OSHA 30, well, that tells a totally different story. It says you're serious. You didn't just meet the requirement, you went way beyond it. You willingly invested an extra 20 hours of your own time to learn how to manage risk and think like a supervisor. That, right there, is a powerful signal. So when an internship manager sees that OSHA 30, they don't just see a certification. They see maturity, they see initiative, they see a leadership mindset. And, maybe most importantly, they see you as less of a risk. You're more job ready from the moment you step on site. So why do the big general contractors, the GCs, care so much about this? Well, it comes down to hiring reality. It solves a very real problem for the project managers, who are going to be your boss. Look, project managers are busy. They need an intern who can actually contribute, not someone they have to babysit. They want someone who can walk into a safety meeting and know what's going on, someone who can help with inspections, and someone who doesn't need constant supervision. With an OSHA 30, you're already speaking their language.
Okay, so all of this leads us to the big question that pretty much every student asks. Isn't OSHA 30 actually required, or is it just, a nice thing to have?
Let's just put it out there. Do you have to get an OSHA 30 before you even start applying for internships?
So here's the deal. Officially, by federal law, it's not mandatory. But, and this is a really big but, in the real world, a ton of the top GCs just make it their own company policy. Plus, you've got states like New York, Massachusetts, and Connecticut, where state laws often mandate it for anyone in a supervisory role. So it can go from recommended to required really fast depending on who you want to work for and where. So let's break it down for your specific situation. If you're a first-year student, you're just kind of exploring the field, OSHA 10 is a fantastic start. But if you're seriously applying for internships with large GCs, or you're looking at public or federal projects, then OSHA 30 becomes incredibly valuable and often required. And if you know you want to be a project engineer or manager, well, OSHA 30 just perfectly aligns with that career path. Okay, let's fast forward. You did it, you got the OSHA 30, it's on your resume, and you've landed the interview. Now what? Let's talk about how to cash in on that investment. I want you to imagine you're sitting in that interview, and the hiring manager asks you a specific question about hazard control. The student with just an OSHA 10 might give a pretty generic answer, but you you can pull out specific technical knowledge right from your OSHA 30 training. So instead of just saying, oh, I'd be careful, you can say, well, I'd apply the fall protection hierarchy of controls, starting with eliminating the hazard. You can actually explain what lockout/tagout is. You can talk about risk assessments. These aren't just buzzwords. This is proof that you already think like a member of the management team. All right, let's bring this all home. When you're planning your next move, what's the one big idea you should take away from all this?
Here's the bottom line, plain and simple. OSHA 10 checks the box. OSHA 30 builds your brand. One makes you compliant, the other makes you a candidate who's ready to lead. It's the difference between being a participant and being a key player.
So if you're really serious about landing a top-tier internship and fast-tracking your career in construction management, investing in your OSHA 30 before internship season even starts is one of the smartest, highest impact moves you can possibly make. I really hope this breakdown gives you a clearer path forward. If you found it helpful, do me a favor and share it with a classmate who's also out there on the internship hunt. And of course, if you haven't already, subscribe for more practical, no-fluff career guidance for the construction industry. Thanks for watching, and good luck out there.